so we'll jump right in. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for our webinar on innovation as a competitive lever for Canadian manufacturing. I just wanted to take a minute and introduce myself and my lovely panelists here. So I'm Nicole Rathie. I run AI for Manufacturing Canada. We are an industry association focused on connecting AI experts and technology experts with Canadian manufacturing across the country. We are thrilled to be bringing this discussion with John Sagana and Benny Cohen. John is the Director of Projects Development at NGen Canada, where he's been involved in supporting innovation, technology development, and product commercialization in both Europe and America for the past 25 years. Alongside him is Benny Cohen, the President of KPI Digital and KPI Mining Solutions. Benny founded KPI Digital over 20 years ago and has become a fast-growing multi-generational consulting firm, supporting customers on their digital journey, whether it be digital transformations using data, analytics, AI, and performance management. Just a little bit of housekeeping here as well. We do have a Q&A function for the webinar today, so feel free to drop your questions in that Q&A. We're going to reserve 10 minutes at the end of today's discussion for those questions. So that way we can really focus on the presentation at hand and then dive deeper into the questions afterwards. So without further delay, I will pass it off to Benny to kick us off into the webinar.
Well, thank you very much, Nicole. Thank you, John. Welcome, everybody. Good day. My presentation today will be focused on a couple of topics. So I'll start with a quick introduction of who KPI is, what we do, how we do it, and talk a little bit about the state of the manufacturing sector in Canada today, some trends over the last few years, what kind of opportunities are they bringing to the manufacturing sector, what kind of challenges do we still have, and most importantly, how do we overcome the challenges and meet these opportunities? So I'll start with a quick introduction of KPI Digital. We are a consulting firm specializing in data and analytics. We've been around for about 23 years, multiple customers, multiple industries that we're serving with sweet spots in the manufacturing sectors, multiple resources overall. And let me just see if this works. Specialty, again, around innovation, digital transformation, use cases across the board in every single area of the business. And essentially, our specialty is around the whole information and data supply chain, all the way from providing you with use cases that are very beneficial with very high ROI, to the data foundation that actually supports it, the architecture, the governance, the integration. And we're dealing with multiple technologies. We're not a technology company, but we are experts in multiple technologies around AI, machine learning, optimization, business intelligence, visualization, performance management across the board, and a lot of technologies around Industry 4.0 and OT versus IT and so on. Our offerings are around digital transformation, cloud modernization, data management, business intelligence, a variety of different use cases. And our teams are made up of strategy consultants, as well as data engineers, architects, data scientists. So we've got teams in a variety of different areas to provide you with a complete solution. Customers across North America, across multiple industries and across geographies. Multiple industries, like I said, specializing in manufacturing, distribution, and retail. And although we're not a technology company, we do work with a number of technology vendors, like Microsoft, like IBM, AWS, Google, and others, so that we can actually bring you the best technology that will enable the kind of use cases and the kind of business objectives that you're trying to achieve. We also work with quite a number of association partners, obviously NGen today and an AI for Manufacturing Canada, as well as others like Scale AI, to provide you with a lot of guidance in the manufacturing sector and a bunch of subsidies and programs to help you and sweeten the desire, the appetite to invest in innovation overall. We're also working with a number of research organizations like Mila, Ivado, and academic institutions like McGill and many others. Essentially, today, the manufacturing sector in Canada is a major driver. Over 1.65 million employees overall, and most of the products that are produced in Canada are actually exported, which is really a great thing. And over the last 5 to 10 years, what we have seen is manufacturing coming back to Canada and moving away from China, for very obvious reasons: geopolitical issues, the supply chain disruptions, higher prices, a lot of uncertainty, but that's a good thing. The interesting thing is that most Canadian manufacturers are actually very optimistic in the growth that they're seeing over the next few years. And when we're looking at the United States, the picture is very similar. We're looking at the very large part of the sector kind of bringing back manufacturing to North America, which is Canada and the US. We're looking at the manufacturing sector that has added almost 500,000 people just last year. And when we're looking at the increase in number of companies that are actually bringing their manufacturing to North America in general, we're seeing a big jump between 22 and 23, and this jump is actually continuing. We're also seeing a lot of investments by companies in general in manufacturing plants, in supply chain processes, and therefore you can see that the sector is actually growing quite a bit. When we're looking at the Canadian sector, obviously there are a lot of benefits on why North American companies or others would want to deal with Canadian manufacturers. Clearly, it's the communication, it's the quality, the excellent quality of the production environments here. It's the stability and of the supply chain and the innovation that and technology that a lot of Canadian companies are investing in. And in addition to all this is all the federal and provincial government subsidies that are being there to sweeten the desire and the appetite to invest in innovation overall. When we're looking at the state of the manufacturing sectors, and we look at the number of employees that have gone down since 1979, it's quite a significant drop from 79 to where we are today. So it is kind of a challenge, but at the same time, what it does is that it presents an opportunity to the manufacturing sector to go back to where we were. And we're looking at a significant growth in the number of employees overall. When we're looking at the contribution of the manufacturing sector to the overall GDP, we're seeing similar stories. We're seeing a similar decline in the contribution. And again, this decline, a challenge here, but really the opportunity is to increase it to where we were before. We're looking at the significant potential growth in this area. So essentially, it's all great. Opportunities are amazing, but there are many challenges. But one of the main challenge that exists today is that the cost to produce goods in Canada is still very, very high. So how do we overcome that? Well, it's innovation, innovation, innovation. It's a digital transformation, and essentially today, Canadian manufacturers need to invest in innovation to be able to be a lot more competitive, bring costs down, and increase gross margins overall to be able to continue succeeding in the North American market as well as a global market. When we're talking about the benefits of innovation, it's about increasing revenue, it's about reducing costs, about gaining a competitive edge across multiple areas. Essentially, what we're trying to do is, through innovation, is do a lot more with less, reduce costs, increase value, increase customer value. That's what we're doing across the board with innovation through multiple use cases that all provide incremental benefits to the customers that we're working with. So when we're looking at typical investments in innovation over the last few years, the return on investment is significant and therefore something that we definitely need to look at. When we are looking at and talking to Canadian manufacturers overall, we can see that most top managers in manufacturing in Canada are very keen on investing in innovation. They see the benefit. The interesting thing is that most of them, although they want to, they don't really know where to start. They don't necessarily understand the investments. They don't understand the opportunities. They don't understand the challenges, and they need help in going this way. When we're looking at an overall organization, we can see that the benefits from innovation in the manufacturing departments are the highest amongst all other departments. So it is significant. We're looking at benefits coming from Industry 4.0 around productivity, flexibility, competitiveness in general. And we're looking at a number of different types of technologies that are helping get there through simulations, through cloud computing, IoT or Internet of Things. And we can see that by the end of next year, the growth will be significant just coming from Industry 4.0. We're looking at additional benefits in productivity, increases in profit margins. We can see that product quality is going up dramatically. We're seeing that the costs are going down quite a bit. And the same thing with the convergence of IT and OT. We're seeing a lot of efficiency improvements, cost reductions, decision-making improvement. That is coming kind of across the board. Supply chain areas that where AI is helping are significant around demand forecasting, around supply chain optimization, visibility throughout the whole supply chain, and optimizing the supply side as well. A big buzz today is generative AI. And really, you see a number of areas in a manufacturing environment where Gen AI can help in engineering, in manufacturing, and services in general, and all the way from discovery, knowledge discovery, to root cause analysis, to smart factory operations, and worker onboard and upskilling, and a number of different areas that are really a priority that Gen AI can help. And you can see a number of very specific use cases that have been implemented in the manufacturing sector around factory operations, supply chain, R&D, software development, IT, OT, maintenance and services, and many, many more. So clearly, AI in general, Gen AI specifically right now, that is adding a lot of benefits to the sector. One specific use case that we were involved with was with an automotive manufacturer that is getting a lot of requests for quotes from customers, where they would receive a number of requests coming in through unstructured data, whether it's PowerPoint presentations, Excel spreadsheets, PDFs, and so on and so forth. And they're trying to capture all this information to assess what exactly are the requirements. And at the same time, they have millions of documents where they've produced quotes to customers in the past. And through Gen AI, we're able to kind of reduce that whole cycle from 8 weeks from the generation of the request to providing them with a quote. So quite a lot of use cases in this area, a lot of benefits. So at this point, I'll pass the presentation to John and NGen. Clearly, there are a lot of benefits in innovation in the manufacturing sector. But the nice thing about this is that the federal and provincial governments are very interested in Canadian organizations investing in this area. So they're are trying to enable investments in innovation quite a bit, and John will be talking about this right now.
Excellent. Thanks, Benny. Thanks, Nicole, for the intros. Good afternoon, everyone. Let me just go and click. There we go. So thanks, everyone, for attending. Very happy to be here. As mentioned, my name is John Sagana. I'm one of the directors of project development here at NGen. And I've been in and around innovation and new technologies for the better part of the last 25 years. So a few words about NGen, so Next Generation Manufacturing. We're actually a non-for-profit organization that's led by industry. We're at the forefront of Canada's Global Advanced Manufacturing Innovation Hub, and we lead the Global Innovation Cluster on Advanced Manufacturing. And basically, we help companies develop, scale, and deploy cutting-edge technology in the manufacturing sector. We do this through a number of ways. We promote capabilities and make connections. In a few slides, I'll talk about Hanover Messe, where we showcase Canadian technologies to the world, essentially. We have workforce development programs, and we fund collaborative innovation, which is one of the topics that we wanted to bring to your attention. Next slide over. Oh, and yes, sorry, I should have clicked. There we go. There we go. So some of the how we get to promote and support innovation. So some statistics on the first 5 years of operations, so from 2017 to 2023 for NGen. We've invested in 165 projects. We fund collaborative projects, so multiple partners working together towards an innovation project. So those 165 projects actually had 370 industrial partners. So those are the collaborative projects. 90%, so 89% of those projects involved SMEs, so small, medium enterprises, less than 500 employees that were part of this project. These 165 projects represented about $220 million of investment from NGen's perspective. And these projects were not only successful, they were highly successful. They generated $7 billion in revenues to date. So the results and the impact of those projects, which represents a 32 times return on investment on the initial $220 million worth of investment. Even though we've got multiple programs in multiple sectors, environment. So most of the projects, 71% of the projects that we actually invested in had a strong impact on the environment. So lower environmental costs, lower energy, less waste, so on and so forth. So a lot of good things on the environment too, in terms of impact. NGen has over 7,000 members from across the country. As long as you're involved and interested in advanced manufacturing, we'd love to have you as members. Membership is free, so highly encourage you to become members of NGen. And you're going to receive more information about the programs and the activities that we have ongoing. So these statistics are from the first 5 years, or 2017 to 2023. We continue, so 2023 to 2028, we continue to invest in technologies and advanced manufacturing. So you've got a list here of the topics that we've addressed and will continue to address. We just closed, we're doing the assessment on clean technology and sustainable manufacturing. We just closed a program on advanced manufacturing and home building. Expect to see more programs rolling out on advanced manufacturing technologies. So that's just to give you a flavor of what we've done and are continuing to do in advanced manufacturing in Canada. The message here, the main message I think Benny and I have for you is that you're not alone in this journey. I think that is the take-home message. Innovation, by definition, is a bit scary. It's intimidating. It's daunting. Companies need to commit human, material, financial resources to a project. There are risks. There's probably going to be setbacks along the way. So this is not a straight line from point A to point B. So we understand that it's a daunting task. The good news, and I think that's also part of our messaging, is that you're not alone in this journey. Just here in Quebec, and that's probably true across all the provinces, Conseil de l'Innovation du Québec, there's over 600 federal, provincial, regional, and local funding programs. So, and that is true across the country. So you're not alone in those in that endeavor. There's numerous organizations across the country that offer support and advice for innovation, and the two objectives are always to manage, reduce, mitigate the project risk, right? To control those risks and to encourage innovation in industry. And Betty did a good job of highlighting the benefits and the why you want to do innovation, the productivity gains, which is one of the big ones. Remember, there's new products, new services that can be brought to your company, so increasing revenues through those new products and services. The benefits also in terms of your branding, your image. You can attract talents and capital to your company. So there are beyond, those are softer probably benefits to the innovation work, but definitely those are benefits that also help. Don't underestimate essentially those benefits that come to your company through the innovation work. I mentioned that I wanted to come back and talk about Hannover Messe. If you're not familiar with this conference, it is the largest advanced manufacturing event worldwide. Last year, so this year, 2024, we had more than 130,000 attendees, 4,000 exhibitors. So it is big, very big event in Germany going on every year. If you haven't heard yet, so some pictures here about the Canada Pavilion at Hannover Messe 2024. If you've not heard already, Canada is the co-host country for Hannover Messe 2025. So expect to hear more about Canada's participation at Hannover Messe in the coming months, if you haven't already. And what I wanted to highlight was that snapshot, that picture on the right-hand side from at the entrance of one of the halls at Hannover Messe. The hype is over, AI is here. So a lot of the exhibitors, features, new products, new services were around AI. So definitely that was one of the main take-home messages from Hannover Messe in 2024. And I want to bring this back to what it means for Canadians. So this is a slide that was put together by the Conference Board of Canada. So credit to them for the report and the work. Earlier this year, this is from February 2024. And actually what they did was map out the impact of AI on Canadian productivity. And what you see on the x-axis is essentially the census regional, the metropolitan regions, across the country, and on the y-axis, the impact of AI on productivity. So overall, in this study, they estimated that AI could increase productivity in Canada by about 2% across the board in the country. Obviously, some sectors or some regions overperform, some slightly underperform, but overall, it's a 2% increase across the country if there was adoption and inclusion of AI in Canadian. This was more generic than just manufacturing, but across the board in Canada. Another study, May 2024, so a few months ago, from TD Economics, and again, addressing the productivity slump in Canada and how AI could help advance and bridge that gap in terms of the productivity. So this report and this study speaks about a 5 to 8% productivity increase if AI was adopted across industry. So those are some examples. Obviously, AI is not the only way to innovate, but certainly looking at AI as part of your portfolio, as part of your portfolio of innovation strategies, is certainly something that any company would be able to look into. I also wanted to leave you with a few very concrete examples. This slide presents some recent projects that have been supported financially by NGen. You see the titles and partner companies. I am not going to go into the details on each and every of these projects, but I want to go the first two. Maybe I want to highlight those and give you a bit more details on what the projects were, what we did, and what the impacts were of those projects. So the first project, Advanced Manufacturing Process Innovations Flex-Ion Battery Innovation Center. The project value was $8 million, and NGen funding represented $4 million. So you see the two partners there, FlexEngate and eCamion. Those partners, and this project is in the EV battery domain, and basically looking at the process innovations in the production, the manufacturing of the batteries. And I don't know if you're familiar with the topic, but the actual manufacturing of the battery and the first charge, the initial charge of the battery, actually impacts the performances of the battery throughout its operational life. So the actual production and charging of the battery is critical. And this project actually was looking at the manufacturing process and what innovations could be brought to bear in that manufacturing process. So essentially, the partners worked on changing the coating system. They went from a coating that was liquid, that was basically painted on or applied, to a dry coating, essentially eliminating an entire step, which was the drying of the coating. So entirely, that step was entirely removed from production. They were also able to use thermal and optical vision technologies, and using predictive AI, we're able to essentially monitor the process, the fabrication process as it went along, and basically identify any issues, any problems, deficiencies as they were producing the batteries, and correcting them as they went along. So essentially, they were able to reduce the mixing time from 12 hours to 3 hours while enabling and keeping the quality of the end product, which was the battery. So long story short, this project essentially was able to double productivity. So they went from an average battery cell formation and aging, which took essentially 6 days before this project was performed. And they were able, because of all these optimizations and process enhancements, bring it down to 3 days. So basically doubling productivity. And because they were able to use the predictive AI, they also decreased material costs. So there was less waste essentially while doing the same level of production. So they decreased material costs by 10%. So that's an example of how innovation basically is able to increase and impact the productivity in the manufacturing sector. And the second example I wanted to share with everyone was production and recycling of lithium metal anodes for EV solid-state batteries. Same thing, we're still in the EV electric vehicle production domain, so with batteries. The total project value was 5 million, and NGen funded 2.5 million of those 5 million. So you see the two partners there. And again, we're in the domain of lithium. So as you probably know, lithium is usually mined out of the ground. It's a complicated and expensive chemistry to extract the ore from the ground and refine it to a state that can be used for batteries. The objective of this project was really to recycle, so take lithium metal from end-of-life batteries or production byproducts from scraps, and basically be able to refine them, recover them, refine them, define the process, so that they can be essentially brought back into the production cycle in a circular manner. So really it's a project around circularity and taking waste products and turning them into added value products. So essentially they were successful in recycling, and essentially it's as if they were able to, they were given access to a new deposit, not in the mine, but in accessing really the waste products and the waste material that would have been landfilled, essentially now was able to be brought back into the production cycle of the companies. So quick conclusions. I think hopefully by this time both Benny and myself have shown that innovation and productivity go hand in hand, and that we understand that it's daunting. It is a lot of unknowns in going forward with innovation, but there's many organizations out there. NGen is one among many out there that support innovation and assist entrepreneurs and businesses and in their innovations. And maybe the last thought I want to leave you with, and I'll just, it's from a proverb that essentially says, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, and the second best time is now. So essentially, innovation, you're pushing yourself into positioning yourself for the future. And it's now, I know it's daunting, I know it's scary, but the time is now to take that leap and to put yourself in the best position possible for future endeavors. So without further ado, I'll turn it over to Benny for some conclusion words from his side too.
Thank you very much, John. And let me just see if we can move on to. There you go. So we talked about the state of the manufacturing sector in Canada. We talked about all the opportunities that are available to the manufacturing sector today. We also talked about the challenges and how to overcome these challenges. Obviously, innovation is a big part of it, investing in innovation. Innovation in general is a journey. It's not something that you do and it's done. And there are a lot of uncertainties around what innovation means. Clearly, because it is a journey, and as John mentioned, you're not alone here. There are so many different programs that will help you innovate. And at the same time, everything around innovation, where do you start, right? That's the key. And that at KPI Digital, what we're trying to do is to try to kind of give you some sort of a roadmap for innovation. And a data strategy is very closely tied to that. So knowing where your business is going, knowing what the objectives are, what the challenges are, we're able to help you kind of start with a strategy and then putting a data foundation to support this as well. The key is to support innovation and a data strategy with your business strategy and where you want to go. And so although we start with a big picture, we do believe that this is a journey. There's a lot of you don't know what you don't know. We have adopted a very successful crawl, walk, run approach that helps you kind of see the implementation of innovation in general in small steps, seeing and understanding what the value is, and then based on the value, you continue investing and seeing more and more value. So it's one use case at a time. Every use case provides you with incremental benefits, incremental ROI, and you continue this way. So depending on what the vision is of the organization, the key here is to think big, but start small, and move at a fast pace, knowing where we are in the marketplace, how competitive it is. With the way that we do this is that we provide a free workshop. It's a 3 to 4 hour workshop where we bring a number of decision makers from your teams. And we talk about business objectives. Where's the business going? We talk about business objectives. We talk about challenges and the solutions that you can have around those challenges and business objectives. And I'm trying to understand, out of all these challenges and objectives, the kind of solutions that are available, and then prioritizing them into this whole crawl, walk, run approach, and providing you with a clear roadmap on how to go through innovation, where we hold your hand throughout the process. We help you kind of understand where you are in this data and innovation curve, and based on where you are and where you want to go, we help you kind of reverse engineer it back to where you are today and come up with a strategy on how to execute against it. And that's the conclusion of my presentation. At this stage, Nicole will open the floor to questions, comments from all the registrants.
Awesome. Thank you guys both for your insights today. They were awesome for even me to learn and gain that insight. We do have one question. It's a little specific here, so I'll kind of maybe round it out and point it to you, John. So this is a question about kind of funding across Canada. This person has 2 Canadian businesses in the manufacturing industry, and are talking kind of about scale up and startup funding for Canadian businesses. I was wondering if maybe this might be a better question to take offline and actually dive into. But maybe you could talk to kind of the funding that NGen is kind of geared towards.
Happy to do that. Thank you, Nicole, and thank you for the question. I'll remain broad, but yes, maybe we would need to drill down a bit more on the specifics of that question. I assume most folks on the call will be familiar with TRL level, technology readiness level. So typically it goes from 1 to 9. 1 is, I've got an idea. 9, it's implemented in industry. And there's NGen funding specifically work on the higher TRL scale, closer to commercialization, closer to impacts and rolling out to industry. But there are other players in the ecosystem that are on lower TRL funding, and the NRC is one of them that comes to mind. But IRAP and they're not exclusive. There's plenty of other players out there. So. And our funding is, again, like I said, collaborative. It's open call for proposals where companies work together to promote their innovation, and we fund a fraction. We work on a reimbursement model where we fund a fraction of the eligible expenses that are presented to us. Again, each funder, each funding agency will have specifics on what is eligible, what is not eligible, how they work. So it's really hard to paint in broad strokes. I can give you the broad strokes, but the details are obviously going to be different from funding agency to funding agency. But happy to further discuss and see if there's something that NGen can bring to that conversation. If not, we'll be happy to do intros and present other players. Thanks,
Awesome.
Nicole.
Perfect, John. Thank you. We have another question here, and maybe I'll pose it to Benny, but John, feel free to jump in as well. This person is curious about the potential of Gen AI. Could you guys share some specific examples on how it can be used to optimize the supply chain?
Sure. I can talk a little bit about this. Obviously, AI in general is helping to optimize the whole supply chain all around improved forecasting, improved demand planning, and supply planning across the board. Inventory optimization is clear through that. Through Gen AI specifically, there are use cases where we can have automated inventory counts through drones flying through warehouses and taking images of the products and turning that into intelligent information and providing very quick inventory counts in an environment that traditionally is very, very labor intensive. So that's one area to improve the process in using Gen AI in the supply chain area.
Some Benny or John, not sure if you want to, you're good. Okay, perfect.
Perfect. No, I think Benny, perfect answer, good example. So I don't have anything specific on supply chain, but yeah, Benny's a perfect example.
Awesome. I have a question as well from the discussion today. Was mainly just curious, we talk a lot kind of where to start here at AI4M in adopting technology, and kind of starting that digital journey. Let's say a manufacturer comes to you guys and is still on pen and paper, Excel sheets, very basic kind of systems in their process. What do you guys recommend on a good starting place, and how do you guys help those manufacturers in, taking the steps to walk, run, or
Crawl, walk, run.
Yes, I was like, it doesn't start with walk, it's crawl, walk, run. So what would crawling look like? What would walking look like? Maybe I'll pass it to Benny first.
I can take this one, John, if you want.
Sure, by all means, yes.
No, but clearly it all depends on where they are in terms of the maturity level. It sounds like the example that you're giving is an organization that is fairly immature in terms of data and analytics overall. We're trying to understand really what are the business objectives and challenges that they're having today and where they are from a maturity perspective. And typically, the first thing that they need to have is kind of visibility into their data environment. So kind of business intelligence type of views, reporting and analytics, visualization of just understanding what's going on. And then the next steps would be more into, where are we going, and can we understand the performance? In other words, we know where we are, but are we actually performing? And then if we are performing, what does performance really mean to me, to us? So performance management, KPIs in general. And then kind of the more advanced ways are towards where's the business going, and then how do we actually optimize and improve a lot of the processes, product development, and so on throughout the company. So it's a journey, and depending on where you are in that journey, we can kind of come in right at that point and help you continue through this journey.
If I can just echo something that Benny said, thanks, Benny. And I want to echo something that Benny said that's really critical. Align it to business objectives. In other words, innovation is an ends to a mean. Like if you don't have your objectives from a company's perspective straight, you want to start with those, and the innovation is going to be building into that overall. So you don't do an innovation project just for the sake of doing innovation. You do it because it brings you something, either productivity, it brings you new revenues, it brings you brand and awareness, new capital. There must be a business objective behind that investment. So I just wanted to kind of emphasize that, even though Benny mentioned, I just wanted to put a bit more emphasis on it.
For sure. Always good to echo good ideas. One question, and maybe again, this is something to take offline for you, John, but it is a systems integrator developing novel industrial systems for automation and manufacturing. Can NGen help with going from prototype to full industrial application? Is that kind of something that would be in the wheelhouse?
Is that in the chat? I didn't
It's in
see.
the Q&A.
Okay.
So
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
no worries. And again, something maybe to connect you guys both offline.
Yeah, happy to do that. Yeah, and typically, yes, depending again on everything is on our website, the call for proposals. So obviously per topic, so obviously there needs to be a bit of an alignment in terms of what the company wants to do and our call for proposals. But along those lines, yeah, the idea is to help scale up and bring to the next level those technologies. Again, more I like to talk about innovation, not R&D, which is R&D is still lower TRL. We're higher TRL in our call for proposals typically. But yeah, happy to follow up with Ahmed.
Awesome. Question from Walter here, and I'm going to pose this to both of you. What is your view of where Canada stands in AI adoption for manufacturing, but more in general adoption as well to the physical world, example IoT and stuff like that?
Benny,
Maybe
do you
I'll
want
pass it
to?
to
Okay, well, I can take a first stab at it, and Benny, please feel free to jump in. Even Nicole, from your perspective, we were just at the All In conference. I think all three of us actually
Yeah, I was just
were
thinking that
at All
too.
In a month ago, and I think, and one of the take-home messages for me from All In was that Canada's really good in AI on the fundamentals. Like we've got the Mila, we've got these researchers doing top of the line research worldwide in AI. I think we're lagging behind in terms of that adoption of that AI. So translating that AI knowledge, expertise, experience into industry, manufacturing being part of, being a subset of industry in general. So I think we're lagging behind on that front, and happy to hear diverging or converging thoughts on that. And adoption to physical world, so IoT, again, same thing. I think getting there. There's work ongoing, but I think we're still lagging behind. But happy to hear thoughts.
Yeah, I can jump in as well with my thoughts from All In and the work we do here at AI for M. Something that really resonated was, we're an A+ in education research, producing top talent in AI, but we're really challenged with actually keeping them here in Canada and deploying them in these roles. And that's definitely the lag between the disconnect, if you will, within AI. There's struggles in increasing innovation in manufacturing and in businesses across the country, and so that's kind of, I think, the main disconnect that I see often, is that's where Canada's lagging and where we need to really dive into innovation, dive into the resources that are available and learn about the technology, so then we can take those steps to create more efficient manufacturing processes or more efficient just processes in regardless of industry. But Benny, I'd love to hear
Yeah,
your
if I can
thoughts.
add also, one thing that is very clear, Canadian manufacturers are a lot more conservative than, let's say, Americans or other European manufacturers. They are conservative. The biggest challenge is that there's a lot of confusion on what innovation really means. They all are on board on the need to innovate, but understanding what the investments are required, what are the opportunities, what are the challenges that come with innovation, where to start, how fast can they go, where are they going to be able to fund all these investments. these are still showstoppers for a lot of Canadian manufacturers. And when it comes to adoption, it's obviously slowing them down. So they're very much exposed to the benefits of innovation, but the adoption is very, very slow, given also the fact that in general, Canadian companies are a lot more conservative than other countries.
Definitely. And Benny, to keep you on the line here, we might have another question kind of geared towards your wheelhouse. When you talk about data strategy for manufacturing, could you give a couple of examples of what that looks like and where I should start?
Yeah, of course. The data strategy, as John's stated also before, has to align with the business strategy. So what we're trying to do is to put a data strategy that supports the growth, supports all the business objectives that a company is looking to deploy. When we're talking about a data strategy, we're talking about innovation. So there's an innovation strategy with a bunch of use cases that they want to deploy. But we're also talking about the level of data foundation to support this innovation strategy. Innovation without data is not going to move very, very fast. When we're talking about foundation or data foundation, we're talking about architecture, we're talking about governance of data, we're talking about platforms, integration strategies. A lot of companies are growing through acquisitions, and they find themselves with multiple data sources all over the place, and they're trying to innovate and get a single view of the data. It's very, very challenging. So you need to understand, anticipate all these things in advance so that when the company is ready to innovate, data is not going to be an issue for them.
Awesome. I know I passed that question, but yeah, John, feel
Perfect.
free.
I don't have much more to add to that. So.
Awesome. Another question here, talking about AI, how can my company better understand how mature we are in terms of AI categories? Maybe Benny, I'll pass that to
I
you
think
potentially,
Benny's
the
probably
in-house
closer to
AI
that
expert.
action. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so obviously, in terms of maturity, we're dealing with kind of two levels. There's one level which is data scientists developing different algorithms and deploying different use cases, and another level is the data maturity. So if the data is not mature, the data is not solid, the data is not there, it's very challenging to advance on AI. So we can very clearly see within the companies where they are in terms of understanding where the business is going. So a lot of predictive things, a lot of areas where you can use AI to improve quality control in manufacturing, to optimize the inventory processes, collect data through IoT, and then make sense out of it and see where the business is going, what kind of maintenance is required on each one of the machines. We can very quickly see where they are in that process, but really it's a function of where they are today and where they want to go, and then what is the potential to improve the business through AI in general.
So I totally agree with you there. As well, the recording will be available for this on the AI for M website, and we'll email it out for the question asked there. And then a follow-up question. Again, John, I'm going to pose this to you, but it might be also a follow-up afterwards.
Yeah.
Thanks for the presentation. What is the support available for SMEs to adopt innovation? SMEs are challenged with resources and awareness along with budgets.
Right. Yeah, I'm seeing that in the question. So thanks, Nicole. Thank you for the question. Yes, we can certainly follow up as after the presentation. But yeah, NGen is but one among many of programs that exist. And like I said, each one has a slightly different flavor in terms of what their requirement, what their where they sit on the TRL scale, Someone mentioned also MRL, so market readiness level. That's also important in developing the technology. Again, our model is one of a reimbursement of expenses. Others have slightly different. Some might be loans, some might be, they take an equity position. That's not what we do. But yeah, there's a vast array of support organizations that can help throughout the life of companies. I think it's just a question of making sure that aligning and finding those partners, and obviously those partners are going to evolve as the company evolves. But yeah, to try to identify those partners and work with them.
Awesome. And I can speak from experience of the whole NGen team is awesome to work with when kind of exploring that, ecosystem of funding and everything like that. They're super knowledgeable and super helpful. But with that as well, if you have any other questions, feel free to pop them in the Q&A. We would be happy to take the next 4 minutes left in the call to answer any questions that are outstanding. I will just wrap up by saying and echoing that the recording will be available on the AI for M YouTube and website as well. I'll send it out to all of you guys on the call today, as well as all of the contacts. Benny's and John's contact will be in that email. So feel free to also reach out to them with any questions you might have. We are really, creating an ecosystem where collaborators can come together and innovate and explore this technology together. And if we can help you on that journey, we're more than happy to. John, were you gonna hop in there? I saw you thinking there for a second. Okay, good.
Oh, perfect.
Awesome. Perfect.
Thank
Well,
you.
with that, we don't have any further questions, so maybe we'll wrap it up here.
Excellent.
Thank you. Have a great day,
Thank
everybody.
you.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
everyone. Cheers.